So in amongst all the background kits I've been building, I did take the time to build two smaller auxiliary buildings. One is a kit that I'll show you here, and the one's a scratch-built building that I'll show quick. This is a little, it's called a transformer shed. It just looked like a good little typical utility type building to have inside an industrial complex somewhere. It's by Busch. I'll put the information, the kit number and everything. I got this at Model Train Stuff, MB Klein. When I was buying some other stuff and just happened to come across it and saw it and thought it looked, hey, that looks like a nice little kit. A little pricey because it's one of the European manufacturers, but it's nice. Built into a nice little kit here as I slowly rotate it, and see I've got it weathered up and it's got some obvious things have happened to it, but it's a small kit. It's about 1.5 inches in width by about 2 inches long. And again, they call it a transformer shed. You know, some type of utility shed. Nice looking little building, so I picked it up and put it together. Didn't take long at all. It goes together nice. And then I just weathered it up and, of course, added the warning sign there, the high voltage danger, 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 to the front of it. So that is the Busch transformer vault. I forget exactly what they call it, but I'll put the information. It comes with that roof material there, and like I said, it's a nice little kit. Goes together well and built into a good, you know, you need a lot of these just kind of typical little other auxiliary type buildings around. So that is one. And now let me show you the other building that I actually scratch built. Okie dokie. Now this here is a building I decided to scratch build. I saw this. This is actually at the power plant I was working at, and it's an MCC for the rail dump. I think it's a motor control center. Looked kind of cool. Like just again, just one of those generic buildings you tend to usually drive by. The actual unloader sits right over here at the power plant. So this is right outside. You can see there's a rail here in front. There's another rail that goes behind it, but it's obviously some type of, you know, power supply, utility control type stuff for the dumper itself. So I saw it and said, that's a cool looking little building. And what I did, I'll show you what I purchased to make it. And there's the kit. And it's not, again, I wasn't trying to duplicate it exactly, so I'm not saying it's perfect. You know, believe me, it certainly isn't. But I wanted to capture the feel of it because I thought it looked like a good little building. It's got the two double doors, which I used a Tichy double door. It's got a man door. I used a Pikestuff man door. You know, got a little conduit coming in, which I have there. This is some type of vent that I built to look like that. And I actually did try to include, I don't know if it'll show up here in the, again, I don't really have a good studio, but I did actually try to get the power cord coming out of the, if you can see it there, coming out of the inside the fan, which they kind of show, or what they have on the real one there. There's actually a power cord kind of whoop coming out of there, so I tried to include that. Now down here, they've got three, they look like they're 480, you know, welding type plug outlets, and some type of, I don't know if it's a vent, air conditioner, or what it might be. I did include that sort of on the model. I did try to, they're not the greatest. I tried to make them. They're just made out of basically pieces of styrene, cut, sanded. I think this is 030 styrene rod that I just kind of cut and bent carefully. That's like a, I don't know, it's a 100 by 60 or 100 by 125 or something like that, that I just kind of manipulated, and then cut part of the 030 rod to a real small piece, glued it on carefully, and then tried to cut out of an 010, tried to cut the circle for the cap that opens up on the on the, see if I can get in there. Again, this is not perfect by any means, but and they're actually not even really round because I just couldn't cut them right. But you know what, they look okay. The vents down below, they're actually drains that I bought on Shapeways. but they look kind of right, so I turned them sideways, painted them the gray color, and painted the grills black, and they, to me, make a reasonable facsimile of that unit there. On the door, in this case, I did actually print this. I actually took this into an image editing software and printed that actual sign off, and then put it on the door. Printed it out, trial and error, to get it to kind of look the right size. You can't really read it all that well. In fact, if I zoom in there, I'm not even sure it's going to focus. Probably not. But it does say, you know, the no smoking and danger, electrical hazard, and rail dump MCC number 2. I'm not sure where number 1 is, but that's what this building said on it. So, and then it's got the walls are from Pikestuff. Let me just kind of grab what they are, just so you can see. Really nice stuff. Again, I found these at MB Klein. At the same time, I found the little transformer building from Busch. These are just Pikestuff concrete wall sections, and they come in different lengths. I bought the 3 different sizes they have. These are the intermediate sections. They have long sections, of which I used 1 for this, and I just used 1. Again, that's why my building's shorter than that, because I didn't feel like joining 2 together. And for the end wall, I just one of these short sections. It's close. Again, it's not the exact size, but these are nice. These are, you know, styrene type material. They cut nice and kind of was easy to work with. And so now I got an MCC. Now the other picture that I have, yeah, this shows those outlets a little bit better. There's a door at the end. And you can see they're definitely the 480 volt, probably 480, I think is what they are. I only did 2 of them, and I kind of didn't do the best job on them, but they look acceptable to me. And I got the door there at the end with the same sign on it, because it's got the same sign. And this little doodad sticking up is to, if you look, there's a little, it actually looks like it's a conduit. I don't know if it has a convenience outlet at the end of it. I'm not really sure, but I figured, okay, I'll go ahead and cut up a little piece of wire and at least put it in there to duplicate that. So, that is my scratch-built MCC motor control center for the dumper. That's all just solid. I'm not sure if there's actually a door on this end, because the way it sits there at the power plant, there's a trailer right next to it, and I just kind of drove by and took some pictures. I didn't do actually any measurements or anything. I just built this kind of by counting the blocks, cutting, you know, the actual sheet that comes from Pikestuff is bigger than that. I just counted the number of blocks. I think it was 13. Cut it off, and that's the size I made. Got a piece of 060 for the roof, 060 for the foundation, and built it up. I did do a little bit of the mortar is just a thin wash of a light gray acrylic paint, and then I did real lightly with some gray powder just to give a little bit of variety on the cinder blocks. The building itself wasn't all that weathered, so I didn't want to go crazy on this. So that is the scratch built MCC. Yeah, it was a fun little scratch build, and I did it in between doing other stuff that waiting for paint to dry and painting things that I missed and whatnot. So there you go. And that is going to go, zoom out there, right next. Let me just come in here and Godzilla this thing. It's going to get dark until I change it, but you can see all the buildings. But that's going to go basically, it's going to be hard to see, but you know, something like that, right next to the dumper for the silos. So I'll put that somewhere in there, like that. So there we go. All right, so just wanted to show those. Just some fun stuff going on. in amongst all the other shenanigans going on. So, just some auxiliary buildings for the industrial area.